One is the 5 factors model. I'm going to tell a little bit about each of these tests as we go ahead. The second is the FIRO-B. Third is MBTI, like I am a certified MBTI psychometrician. You have DISC, you have 16PF. Some of you might have taken up some of these tests online also, because I'm told that a lot of students like to take this only, as a means to have some fun and understand their own self. The next one is the Harrison, and the last one is the Hogan assessment. The 5 factors model. Understand this. Before I go about the 5 factors model, I like to just share a small thing. There is a book called Personality Plus, and it is written by Florence Littauer. If you want, I can even share that link to the book later on. You can even look it online. In the book, it talks about 4 main personality types. I haven't put it on the slide right now, but I'd like to just talk about it a little bit. It talks about 4 personality types. One is a sanguine, second is a choleric, third is a phlegmatic, and fourth is, I forgot. Have I forgotten? I'm a sanguine. I love to, meander with so many things, so I can forget. Anybody on the group who has tried to look into the 4 personality types? Sadaf, this is a small homework I'm giving. This was just a way to encourage them to do a little Google search. I'm sure that, now because I didn't tell them, their minds will be at work over time to find out what is the 4th personality type. 3 I told them: sanguine, phlegmatic, choleric. Okay, I'll give you the 4th one. It's the melancholic. But I want you to actually take a homework from them and ask them to write a little bit about these 4 personality types.
Well,
Only then
actually, someone already did Google. Abhishek did, and he already
okay.
put the answer in the chat box. So I think great, good work, Abhishek.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk about. So this is what I really like to do. I don't want to make it sound like a webinar where I just go on talking. I want an interactive webinar. I want the participants to understand that how important it is to understand their own self. It is not just about acing a test just to get a job. I never be, I've coached so many students who said that we don't even want to hold a job. We just want to understand how I can do what I want to do in my own startup as an entrepreneur. Look, today, the choices that we had earlier, being a doctor, a lawyer, a chartered accountant, an engineer, are obsolete. Some of the professions from now on also are going to get obsolete. Now is the time to expand your wings, to expand your horizons, to understand your own self. And that is what exactly the psychometric test should do. Let's go on to this 5 factor model. It uses 5 personality traits, basically to understand the frequency and the intensity of a person's feelings, thoughts, or behavior. What the employer really wants to see is how energetic one is. Extraversion is actually an engagement with the outside world. Like I said, I'm an ENFP. So for me, it is very important that I engage with the outside world. I can't sit locked down. Even in the lockdown, I need to talk to people. I cannot get into a shell. So a lot of you who are on this call today might feel, oh yeah. I'm also I have that extraversion. I need to be there. Now, remember this, that there's a difference between being an extrovert and being an extrovert. And again, I'm giving a small homework. Please find out what is the difference between an extrovert and extrovert. Very important. Please do this. It's a small homework. And I'm sure like MBA students love to do Google search for everything. Right, Sadaf? Right. Okay. The second one is the openness to experience. How open you are to a new environment. How open you are to a new experience. Suppose if I give you a kind of a job that is not to your liking. For example, for me, I hate data analysis. I hate, Google searching on various things. For me, give me a thing and, I know how to collate things. But if you ask me to find statistical data, that's not me. But I still do it. Am I open to their experience? Of course I am. Of course, you should be. Take chance with your own potential. Third is how structured one is. Like I said, I used as an ENFP, and when you do your MBTI, you'll understand that you fall into a certain category. You'll realize that, oh my God, structure was not my forte. Now it is. Now it is, because that is how I am able to put up the program. The next one is one's level of orientation towards other people. How much you can connect to other people, how much you are able to talk to them, to understand their feeling. And the last one is the neuroticism. Now, again, this, I would like you to not just go by the word, but to be able to understand that some of us, we kind of tend to worry. Small things going wrong, it's like, the whole world falls apart. That should not be the case in a workplace. You should know how to manage the things. There will always be difficult situations, and psychometrics actually explains you how you should learn how to manage the environment. The FIRO-B is a fundamental interpersonal relationship orientation behavior. What it does is it helps you understand your team building and team development capabilities. It allows you how to develop your own self. It is also a tool that we use for executive coaching, a wonderful tool for conflict resolution. Now, you to understand this, at the workplace, all of us, we come with our own conditioning. We all come through our own belief systems, our value systems. There's bound to be conflict, but the work should not suffer. So that is the idea of when people are asked to administer or get FIRO-B done, it gives a sneak peek into how good their capability is to resolve a conflict. Of course, we use it for selection and placement. It's a beautiful tool for management and leadership development, and also for relationship counseling. But a little bit about FIRO-B first is that it is a 2-hour questionnaire and it has got 54 questions. It basically helps you understand your interpersonal behavior in terms of certain dimensions. I'm not going to go too much into the details of each of the tool, but you can do your own homework as well. But again, like I said, you can always come back to me with questions. The next one is my favorite, the hallmark of every psychometric testing, MBTI, Myers-Brigg type indicator. It was devised by Carl Gustav Jung. Now, he's not Jung, it is Jung. He's a Swiss psychologist. This is the most widely used questionnaire-based test. Now, you have 4 dichotomies. If you understand from the PowerPoint presentation, you have the first one is an extraversion and introversion. Extraversion is your orientation to the outside world. Introversion is your orientation to yourself. We all have all of these 8 qualities, the personalities, but all of us have something which is dominant, like I already explained you about the dominant hand. Some of these qualities are innate, they are there, they're latent, but they come out only in certain situations. For example, extraversion is an orientation to the outside world. Introversion is your connection to your own self. By and large, I'm an extrovert. But there are times when I need to connect to my own self, to understand who I am, what I can do better. At that point of time, I don't need people around me. I need space to be able to think. So does that make me an extrovert or an introvert? It's something that one needs to ponder on. We all go through that stage where we sometimes don't want people around us. And sometimes those of us who are introverts, who like to connect only to our own self, and we are happy being with our own self, we do need a connection with the outside world as well. The second one is sensing and intuition. Sensing is the data that you collect from the outside world with your 5 senses, what you see, what you hear, what you can touch. And intuition is what you can make of that data. For example, how many of you all trade in stocks? Anybody trades in stocks in the stock market? Or you heard people trading in the stock market? Sadaf, are there any answers? Is there any raise of hands about stock market? There are. Okay.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
how is it that people make money on the stock market? Do they just analyze the data and make money? or is it also intuition based? I'm sure it is more of the intuitive based, right?
Uh,
A lot of,
Unmute Abhishek. He wants to answer. Yes, Abhishek, go ahead.
yes, Abhishek. Okay, he's
yes,
un,
ma'am.
okay.
So
Yes,
it's
yes,
not
Abhishek.
only the intuition based, but there is a lot of data that works behind it, and we also get the senses about what is happening in the industry, and with the help of all those things, we trade in the market.
Perfect. So how much money have you made, Abhishek?
Ma'am, I can just say that all my stocks that I have traded till now are in profit.
So is it because of your sensing capabilities or intuition also?
Ma'am, it includes the intuition as well as sensing.
So the rest of you who want to make money on the stock market, you have a mentor, Abhishek Arora. Don't forget to, tag him as your best friend. Okay, Ritika is saying bots also. Yes, we're not going to talk about that, Ritika, right now. But Abhishek, yes, it's definitely you need to analyze the data. You cannot just go on your intuition. But what I really meant is that you need a fine blend of it, right? And some of the people, even if when the market is at its lowest, they have made money. And what do you attribute it to? It's intuition, right? Okay, let's go to the next one, thinking and feeling. I've been a HR professional. And suppose if, there have been times when I've hired people, where I've fired people. What do you think I have done? Is it easy for me to go and tell them that, hey, you're no longer needed. Here's your pink slip. Take it and leave. Or what would I do? Hey, man, I know you're a great guy. Your capabilities are good, but I'll have to let you go. But you know what I can do? I'll write you a letter of recommendation and I'll also call up some people to get you a job. I don't want you to suffer. That's a feeler. A thinker is, let's get the work done. He is no longer needed. Let's give the pink slip out. That is just one example that I gave. Judging and perceiving, judging doesn't mean judgmental. Judging actually means somebody who can take a decision fast and close the, have a closure to whatever decision they make. Whereas a perceiver will always have an open-ended situation. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's look into some other possibility. I've got to, maybe write a book. Oh my God, the title is not good. The cover is not good. I need to make a project. No. I need to work still. So for a judging person, somebody who has a very strong judging, for him, everything is ending with ed. I have finished this. I have completed this. I have, whatever you use. Whereas for a perceiving, you'll say, I'm still in the process of finishing it. I'm completing it. I'll be able to submit it tomorrow. I'm thinking, how to submit it. So everything ends with the ing. Whereas with the judging, it will be a ed. Sometimes, of course, you need to hold on to certain situations. You need to be a little stoic, look at it. I need to think about it again. But that is sometimes, not as a matter of habit. Now, so far so good, Sadaf? Are we getting good response? Thank you. I just need a show of hands so that I know that, it's not getting boring and dry. Psychometrics is dry at times. Okay, so MBTI is used basically for individual development. It's not a hiring tool, although a lot of people do use it as a hiring tool. But I would prefer using it for your self-development, for your management development, for team building, to understand how, team cohesiveness can be built in, for organizational change, and also to improve communication. Now, uh, this is a very important thing for me, that, communication. Like I gave you an example of when I was the HR, it was very difficult for me to fire people. And I had to sometimes, because it would waste a lot of my time. People would cry, what will I do? I don't have a job. I have EMIs to pay. It becomes tough. HR job is not easy. So what I had to do is sometimes I had to, tell them that, okay, I got just like 5 minutes. Let's get over with it. I know how you feel. So even that small pep talk I had to do, I had to finish it off in 5 minutes. That is where communication improves. But a person, some of them, they just like to fire. They say, okay, you're not no longer needed. They make more enemies. People don't like them. And tomorrow, if they have to get a job, do you think people would give them a good recommendation? So you need to maintain a balance. That is why MBTI is a beautiful tool to understand how one can improve their own capabilities, how you can step into some other person's shoes and understand why they are like that. There's another beautiful example that I like to give. We had to allocate places for our employees. There was this one particular guy who was an introvert. And unfortunately, he was made to sit right in the beginning of the room. His performance kept on steadily going down till we realized that he likes his own space. He didn't like to, have lunch together. And the moment we put him at the back, his performance kind of just skyrocketed. Versus a person who was, a chatterbox, who wanted to be with people all around. We had to make him sit in front so that we could monitor him and his movements. So just a small tweaking. MBTI actually allows you this small tweaking.